What is up, Fan Nation, Cowboys Nation, Dallas Fan 1997 here, guys. Cold morning out here. I just had to make this post-game video real quick. That was the most pathetic. This is the most pathetic Dallas Cowboys team I've ever seen. And as a younger fan, I've seen a lot of bad Cowboys teams. This takes the cake for the most pathetic, spineless, gutless team I have ever seen. Mike McCarthy, I said it weeks ago, he's lost this locker room. There is no reason for him to stay for the rest of the season. He's got to go. Everybody's got to go. Mike Zimmer's got to go. Mike McCarthy's got to go. We just need to fire the entire coaching staff. Mike Solari, these guys all have to be canned after, and if not after this game, if not today, they just need to be canned at the end of the season. We already kind of know who the next head coach is. Personally, Mike Vrabel would be my first choice as the next head coach, but it sounds like Jerry Jones is already talking about Jason Witten being a head coach. Listen, I love Jay Witt. He was my all-time favorite Cowboy, but the guy's a high school coach. We're going to expect a high school coach to come in here and turn around this team. Don't think it's going to happen, but I will say this, at least he wouldn't be a retread. I'd rather have him over Bill Belichick. We can't get Bill Belichick or some old retread head coach. Whoever we hire needs to be somebody that's young, maybe somebody that has some experience, but somebody that's not like a retread. We need a real good, tough, culture-setting head coach in here. We can't get another Mike McCarthy. Can't do it. Can't do it. Mike Vrabel would help the Dallas Cowboys. He'd help out Dak. Dak needs a solid running game in order to be successful anyways. Mike Vrabel would be very run-heavy. We saw what he did with Ryan Tannehill, who's basically just like Dak Prescott. I think he'd actually help Dak a lot. I will say that. Not a lot of hope for the future because we paid Dak all the money, plus we paid CeeDee Lamb, we're probably going to pay Micah. We're going to have a hard time fielding a roster that's good enough to even compete for the next couple of years. That's why I was so against paying Dak all the money, because we already have to pay CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, man. And paying Dak, who's an aging quarterback that's not even in his prime at this point, was stupid. It was incredibly stupid, and it was irresponsible. But the Dak Prescott fanboys, that's what they wanted. They wanted Dak paid, and they got their wish. So, you know, we can blame Jerry, and Jerry is to blame because he was stupid enough to listen to him. But got to protect his cash cow, or cash pig. That's what I'll call Dak, a cash pig. He's their piggy bank, right? Anyways, yeah, man. Looks like we're gonna get a top 5 pick. This is the most pathetic Cowboys team I've ever watched. This is even worse than the 2015 team that I watched that went 4-12. That team at least was competitive. They had some heart. The only problem with that team is they didn't have a quarterback. This team, not only do we not have a quarterback, we don't have a good defensive tackle. Our offensive line is questionable now. Zach Martin, as much as I love Zach Martin, he's washed. Tyler Guyton looks like a bust. Terrence Steele is garbage. The only good offensive lineman we have is Tyler Smith. Cooper Beebe's got some talent. I think he'll get better, but we only have 2 good offensive linemen. As for receivers, we have some decent players, but they're not being utilized properly because we don't have the quarterback play, regardless of whether it's Cooper Rush or Dak, that's good enough to utilize their strengths. Jake Ferguson's a good tight end, but he's not elite. He's a top 10 tight end at his best, but he's not elite. He's just good, not great. We have no defensive tackle. Mozzie Smith is garbage. He's a bust. Linebackers were okay. I mean, DeMarvion Overshown is decent. Kendricks has been a decent veteran addition, but he's going to be gone next year. We're not going to be able to afford to pay him. Corners, most of our corners are hurt, so we do have a decent secondary when they're healthy, but our secondary is beat up and hurt right now. The only pass rusher we have is Micah Parsons, and D-Law was the other guy, but he's going to be gone after this season. So it's going to be hard. We're just going to have to hit and draft the next couple of years, and like I said, because we won't have enough money to afford free agents. After paying Dak, paying Micah, probably going to pay Micah, and paying CeeDee Lamb, we're not going to have enough money to field the roster that's even good enough to compete. The only way we can build a good enough team is to either hope that our bargain basement free agents just work out for us, or that we just hit in the draft. And we haven't drafted very well the last 5 years. The only good draft we've had since 2020 was maybe the 2022 draft. We got some good players there. And even in 2020, we got Biotish, who was a decent starter, but he's no longer with us. And then we got Lamb and Diggs. Everybody else was either just a backup or had no impact. 2021, I mean, we got Micah Parsons, who's an elite player as a pass rusher. And we got Osa Odigizua, who was a decent, who was an average starting 3 tech. Everybody else we took was either a backup or a bust. 2023, only good player we've gotten so far is DeMarvion Overshown. Everybody else has been trash from that draft or had no impact. And then even this last year, I mean, Cooper Beebe's been okay, but he hasn't been great. Tyler Guyton's been a bust so far. And then Marshawn Nealon's been beat up and hurt. So everybody we've taken the last 5 years outside of 1 or 2 drafts have been garbage. Honestly, or I wouldn't say go that far. They've either just been average or had no impact. So, not a lot of hope for the future, but we do need a new head coach in here, man. This is the worst, most spineless, gutless, trash Cowboys team I've ever seen. And the sad thing is, they do have some talent. The Cowboys do have some talent, but man, oh man, these players have horrible attitudes. They have no heart. All they care about is money, and it's very obvious. So, anyways, Fan Nation, man, it's hard to be a Dallas Cowboys fan right now. And it's not going to get better in a year. It's going to take a couple of years for this team to really even become decent. Really. But it is what it is. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.